Okay, we'll have Kansas State here in just a few minutes before we get to their press conference. Just a couple reminders. Satellite coordinates for tonight's press conferences. Galaxy 17, 10 slot A. The downlink is 11886.5 vertical. Once again, satellite coordinates for both Kansas State and FAU press conferences tonight. Galaxy 17, 10 slot A. The downlink is 11886.5 vertical. Just a reminder for those of you in the building, please silence your cell phones while the press conferences are in session. Either put them on vibrate or turn them off. We do have a couple microphones. We'll move them around. Just raise your hand when we get to questions. When you get the microphone, just give your name and affiliation before asking your question. We do have people on Zoom. We'll try to get to them. Just use the raise hand function if you are on Zoom and would like to ask a question. And then again, recording of press conferences, either with a cell phone or camera, is prohibited per NCAA regulations. Hammond Communications will post both press conferences in the NCAA's digital media hub shortly after the conclusion of them. The digital media hub is www.ncaa.veritone.com. Once again, that's www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts of the press conferences are provided by ASAP. Those are usually provided within a few minutes of the conclusion of the press conference. Once again, K-State should be here in the next few minutes. Okay. So is their locker room open?
Walking. Their locker room is open, yes.
Okay.
Sorry. I get the
No problem. K-State is on its way. The locker room is open for K-State. It opened at 8:47. It will remain open until 9:17. But we have these three walking and should be here in the next minute or so.
much longer we have until it starts? You gonna wait on coach?
Okay, once again, a reminder that K-State locker room is also open. Will remain open until 10:17. We have Coach here. We'll start with an opening statement from him. Then we will go to questions for the student athletes. We'll dismiss them, and then we'll do questions for Coach. So, Coach, if you want to get us started.
First of all, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. In the midst of probably one of the toughest things that, experience with these guys, if we can't be grateful in these times, then all the love and joy that we talk about is fraud, and we're not frauds. And so I want to give FAU and Coach a lot of credit. They did a great job. They were tough. They were together. They made big shots. You have to. They won the game. Okay, they won the game, and so this hurts right now. But I wouldn't trade these guys for 10 players, 10 others, or 20 others. I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. And so very thankful for the fun and the ride that we've had this year.
We have senior guard Marquise Noel. We have junior forward Naquan Tomlin. We'll take questions for either of them. Once again, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over, and we'll just give your name and affiliation before asking your question of either of the student athletes. Up here in the front row on the right side on the aisle.
Hugh Scott Fritch in K-State Athletics. Marquise, Coach was just talking about being grateful. I'm just curious how grateful you are for this ride that you were on.
I'm very grateful, and I had a tremendous year with my teammates and my coaching staff. Had a lot of fun. Just looking back at how hard we worked to get to this point. I'm just thankful for the journey. I'm thankful for my teammates and everybody behind the scenes. I wouldn't want it any other way.
We'll stay on the other side of the aisle, just same row.
For Marquise and Naquan, I wonder if you can just describe how the play was unfolding on the last sequence, and that feeling when you heard the buzzer and you just knew you weren't going to be able to get the shot.
So Marquise first, and then Naquan.
I was trying to get Ish a shot. Coach wanted, Ish to set the screen, and I waved it off because I felt like, on the right side of the court, that's where Ish hits most of his shots. And they closed out hard to him, and he didn't get off a shot. When that final buzzer, hit, it was a little tough, because I love these guys so much that I want to continue to keep playing, for the rest of my life with them. It was tough, but I'm truly honored. I'm truly blessed, and grateful to have a family.
Naquan.
I'm thankful as well. We had a hell of a season. I'm just glad that we made it this far, even though this is not what we, wanted to stop at. But I'm just grateful, that I'm here with my teammates.
On the aisle toward the back there on the right side.
Ian O'Connor at New York Post. Marquise, just as a New Yorker who never got a chance to play in this building in the past, what does it mean to you to finish with 2 dominant performances in the Garden?
I'm just, I'm happy and grateful that I got the opportunity to play in Madison Square. I always dreamed of something like this, just playing here, being here, playing my heart out. I feel like I gave my heart and soul to this game for these past couple games, because I wanted to see these guys, win and smile and know what the standard is for winning. We have a younger group of guys that we have in that locker room, and the standard is hard to win. Winning isn't easy, and to see that, we made a deep tournament run with that young core group. I'm just excited to see, where they'll come years ahead. But, it's just a blessing, man. I gave my heart and soul to this university, to this team. I maximized everything I had, inside of me to see these guys happy.
We'll come back up front on the other side, Vahe.
Marquise, when you hit that 3, you banked it in to make it 63-57. Did you have some sense like, okay, things are just going to fall for us? I mean, obviously, it wasn't like you thought that was it. I don't mean that. But did you have some sense like, we're rolling the way we want to roll into the last 8-9 minutes?
Yeah, I feel like we that shot, gave us a little momentum, but I don't feel like we got, the defensive stops that we really needed. I don't feel like we got key rebounds that we really needed. And give a lot of credit to FAU for getting every single 50-50 ball. I mean, there was guys diving on the floor, jumping out of bounds, crashing on a free throw, so give a lot of credit to them. I'm sure they're happy, and I wish them much success.
We'll do 2 more for the student athletes. We'll start here on the end. Go ahead.
Hey guys, sorry things didn't go your way tonight. Jeff Maglicetti with SI.com, all Knicks. When a guy like Keontae Johnson has to sit out the final 12 minutes of the half, it usually could spell doom for a team, but you guys kept things very manageable to a 4-6 point deficit by the end of the half. So from a player's perspective, what worked for you guys during that period, and what allowed you to keep pace with the Owls during that time?
Start with Naquan, and then we'll go to Marquise.
I feel like, we tried to, stay together and, just try to keep trying to get stops, and for me, trying to make the right plays, and, just trying to stay together, and stay positive.
Marquise?
It's always tough when, your leading scorer is out with foul trouble. But like Naquan said, we try to stay together. We try to get easy buckets. And, I feel like in the first half we wasn't playing our game, how we usually play our game. And I kind of think that's where they got out in transition and got some easy buckets because we was a little flustered on the offensive end. But, they got every 50-50 ball. It didn't come down to anything else but, them playing harder, them wanting it more. So you got to give a lot of credit to them.
Go to the other side of the room, standing toward the end of the aisle. Go ahead.
Tom Marion with AP Radio. For the players, can you express the disappointment of coming so close to the Final Four but not getting there?
Start with Naquan and then Marquise.
You can say no. You can say no. You can't express it.
We can't express it. I mean, it's a tough feeling. Our guys gave it all. Coaching staff came up with a tremendous game plan. We fell short. I mean, it happens in basketball. I mean, these guys are going to work hard this offseason, and I'm pretty sure they're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder next year. But we couldn't explain it.
Okay. Marquise, Naquan, thank you. Appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on a great season. Once again, K-State locker room will be open until 9:19. I made a mistake earlier saying 10. It'll be 9:19 that the locker room will close. We have questions for Coach Tang. Please raise your hand. We will get the microphone to you. We'll start on the aisle in the back row on the right side.
Coach Zach DeLoach with the Manhattan Mercury. Did you feel like FAU did anything specific to kind of neutralize Keontae, or was it just luck of the draw with those fouls?
Keontae played 18 minutes, and that's why he was neutralized.
And then what was your plan for dealing with Vlad Golden and especially offense, or limiting their offensive rebounds and second chance points?
Rebounding has been an issue for us all year, and we tried to make it tough for him. We tried to front him. They did a great job of lobbing it over to him, and then we played behind. He did a good job of scoring some buckets. I didn't think he was the difference. I didn't think he could score 20, and so I wasn't concerned with it. I was more concerned with the other guys, but the other guys delivered too.
Other side of the aisle, 2 rows up. Go ahead.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. What makes them tough? They don't really have a so-called star, but what is it about them that's tough to deal with?
Well, when you draw up plays with X's and O's, right? On some teams, all the O's don't have to be guarded, so you can put your X's in the right spot to make it hard for the team to score on offense. Every one of his O's can score the ball, and that's what makes it hard to guard.
We'll stay on
And
this
it
side.
doesn't matter if they can score 30, they can all shoot, they can all dribble, pass, and that puts your defense in a bind.
Stay on the aisle up here in front.
Jerome, from what you said to us, you thought it was pretty important to have perspective on the meaning of the season in this game. How did you get that across to the players in the locker room? Did you try to focus on that right away, or on the feeling of the loss and the season ending? How did you try to treat that?
Yeah, when this happens, this is the third time I've lost in the Elite Eight, and you can sit around and mope and cry about it, or you can really just think about the love and the joy that you've had through the season. And like winners keep their heads up; they don't drop their heads. And so our guys were not going to walk off the floor with their heads down. And then we're going to approach like tough things are going to happen in our life, and we don't get to wallow in it. Okay, we got to keep moving forward, and this is more of a lesson for them of becoming men than it is about basketball.
We'll stay on this side, fourth row on the end. Go ahead.
Coach, thank you. Jeff Maglicetti, SI.com, all Knicks. This was a team of transfers built by so many assets from the transfer portal, including yourself from Baylor, as a matter of fact. So, what was the key to creating such a cohesive, strong unit through so many different backgrounds? And when you look at and how did this team kind of emulate some of the winning teams you had over at Baylor?
That's a really good question. I'm going to say that what we looked for was winners, and we wanted to find guys who had won in their past, whether it's high school state championships or in college, because whenever anybody wins the last game, at some point in time to win the last game of the year, you've got to go through some adversity, and you're going to be down in a game in a huddle, and you know what it takes to come back and win that game. And so having a group of guys, I think I have more than 8 state championships on the team from high school players, and then college guys who have won, in the NCAA. I wasn't just looking for talent. I was looking for DNA. And all these dudes they're incredible human beings, right? And they learned each other's stories. And because they learned each other's stories, they could empathize with them. They could, understand. And when things didn't go well, they were there for each other. And so, and Marquise Noel really spearheaded the whole thing in building the team chemistry by, having bowling nights and movie nights and all the different things that they did together to build the chemistry that we needed.
We'll go one row back. Roger.
Roger Rubin from New York Newsday. Coach, in the changing landscape of college basketball, it seems like many of the strongest teams have a big component of players who have transferred in, yours included. FAU isn't really like that. The nucleus of their team is like guys who've been playing together for 3 years. Do you believe that there is still a place in the upper echelons of college basketball for teams that exist like that?
I definitely do. My good friend Paul Mills, who just took the Wichita State job, was at Oral Roberts, and his team won 30 games this year with guys who stayed. You got to have the right environment. When we was at Baylor, the national average in college was 43%. I think it's higher than that now. At Baylor, our average was 16%. And the reason it was so low is because, one, we told the truth in recruiting, and two, we loved the guys when they were on campus, right? And we showed them that we cared about what was important to them, and then what was important to them, if they were willing to sacrifice a little bit, it would allow us to achieve our goal as a team and them as individuals achieve their goals. I think you see that with Marquise Noel this year and Keontae Johnson. Okay, I think Keith is the best point guard in America, should win the Naismith. I think Keontae, when he's allowed to play more than 18 minutes, is the best wing in the country and should win the Naismith. Okay, but what Coach May, Dusty's doing is being able to get guys to redshirt and then come along and see how they're going to fit in, and he's telling them their plan. It definitely, and I hope to do that too. Like, I got a group of guys that we redshirted this year, and so next year will be their second year in the program, and then the third year in the program, they're going to be able to help us win. My job next year is to make sure in the second year of the program that I help them see the big picture and that they're willing to come back and be there in the third year.
We'll do one final question for Coach. It's in the back on the right side. Go ahead, young man.
Killian Johnson, Sports Illustrated Kids. Coach Tang, congrats on a great season. So your team has great team chemistry both on and off the court. Win or lose, do you attribute to that team chemistry with your leadership and coaching style?
I attribute it to our staff and the environment that we have, the culture that we have within up and down the office. Like if you walked up and down the hallways of our office, like you would think we're having a party, right? Every day. There's a lot of laughing. There's just a great time together. And I think our guys see that. And they learn more from what they see than what we say. And then they learn to emulate that. And so I believe I have the best staff in America, and the culture that we have up and down our office is a place that anybody would want to work at. Thank you.
Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on a
Thank
great
you, guys.
season. Once again, K-State locker room is open for another 9 minutes. We will have FAU up here in just a few. We have been given the East Regional All-Tournament team, if you have not gotten that handout. East Regional All-Tournament team, A.J. Hogard from Michigan State, Marquise Noel from Kansas State, Keontae Johnson from Kansas State, John L. Davis from FAU, and Vlad Golden from FAU. The most outstanding player for the East Regional was Marquise Noel of Kansas State. We will have the FAU head coach and players up here on the dais in a few minutes, but the FAU locker room is open at this time. Just opened at 9:12, so just letting everybody know that. Probably. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it, man. Okay. All right, FAU is on its way. Should be here in just a minute or so. Quick update on their locker room. It will be open until 9:44. It is now 9:16. Locker room will be open until at least 9:44. Once again, if you have not gotten the handout, the regional all tournament team, AJ Hogard from Michigan State, Marquise Noel, Kansas State, Keontae Johnson, Kansas State, John L. Davis from FAU, and Vlad Golden from FAU. Most outstanding player was Marquise Noel of K-State. Okay, as FAU takes its seats, we have head coach Dusty May. We have sophomore guard Elijah Martin. We have junior guard Brian Greenlee. We have sophomore center Vlad Golden. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach May. Then we will open it up to questions for the student athletes. We'll dismiss them, and then we will take questions for Coach. Once again, the FAU locker room will be open until at least 9:44. But why don't we start with an opening statement, Coach?
Extremely rewarding to see a group give as much as these guys have all season. Shots, playing time, minutes, everything you can imagine, great 100% effort every day in practice, and then be rewarded, because there's never a guarantee. It's always you're relying on faith that you believe is going to happen, but you never really know. And it's just in this era where everyone wants the whole pie, these guys continued sharing the pie every single day. And this was the result. So couldn't be more proud of a group who did it really together every single day.
Once again, if you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone up to you. We have a couple here on the aisle. We'll start on the right side of the aisle, my right side of the aisle. Go ahead.
Elijah, right here. Kevin Fielder from Owls 24/7. You guys are now in the Final Four. What does that feel like for you guys? You know, when you guys committed, it was more of a plan, and now it's actual reality.
Feels amazing. You know, this is a group of guys that just love to work, you know, love to compete. Also, we love to serve each other. We love being around each other, and it shows on the court.
We'll go to the other side. Yep, second row. Go ahead.
Hi, Zach Weinberg of Palm Beach Post. Brian, I know that you guys pride yourself in having a 1-0 mentality for every single game, but can you just kind of go through the emotions that you're sort of feeling right now, you know, as you're advancing to the Final Four?
Yeah. It's pretty surreal. Just a lot of excitement. Just happiness for the unit that we have, that everyone gets to experience this together. And also a little bit of just hunger to go finish it off.
We'll come back on the aisle, back in row 5. Go ahead, Zach.
Zach Braziller, New York Post. For Janelle O'Brien, what this is the transfer market era. You know, teams look different every single year. What do you think made it? Why did you guys stick together when, you know, had some success but not a ton of it before this year?
Start with Brian.
We just have a lot of faith in our coaching staff and the players alongside of us. We knew that, you know, the grass isn't always greener, and really it just comes down to how much work you put in. And we already had a good chemistry last year, and the pieces that we added just complemented everything we had going on. So there was nobody that took anything away from the locker room, and just one unit of guys who just love to work and compete.
We'll stay on the aisle once again, back where we started. Go ahead.
Vlad, Kevin Fielder from Owls 24/7. You had a really good first half, and it was sort of an opportunity for you guys to sort of feed you and get you involved. What do you feel like was working in the first half for you to have such a successful first half?
I mean, it was working because we have such a good shooters, so they cannot help. Like, teams cannot help overhelp. That's what makes me more open than I would be in other situations. So it's basically just because we have so many shooters around me, so I can work in the post with more freedom.
And we'll stay on the other side of the aisle again.
Zach Weinberger, Palm Beach Post. I guess this one is for Elijah. Elijah, can you just kind of sort of talk about how maybe to start the second half, you guys were playing a little bit sloppy, but then kind of when you guys went on a big run. What was sort of the mindset in the second half?
Just slow down and really take care of the ball and be decisive when you penetrate. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we would get down there too deep, trying to make a decision, and we was letting to turnovers, and they were scoring from it. We had to close off on that.
We're going to go to the other side of the room, row 4 on the aisle, on the end. Sorry, Jack.
Jack Ebling, Drive with Jack, and Press Pass. Brian, for all the things you did, you fouled out with 3:49 left, 4-point lead, and you had to sit and watch that 3:49. Was that one of the toughest things you've ever done?
It was tough, but I mean, I think Elijah was on the court when I fouled out. I just huddled the guys up and said, finish this thing off for me, for the team, you know. And I had so much faith in everyone. It was just a joy to see everyone compete. It was just awesome. I wasn't too worried.
We'll stay on that side, standing just at the end. Go ahead.
Sure, this is for the players, starting with Elijah. What turned the game around in the middle of the second half? You were down 6 points.
Our defense, mindset, you know, also limit them to one possession. You know, that's about it.
Brian, you want to chime in? And then Vlad?
I think just continually chipping away. A lot of times people might try to hit home runs to close that lead. And we don't really get rattled in situations where we're down. We've been in too many of them. So just taking it one possession at a time and focus on getting stops.
And Vlad?
I think the basketball is game of running. So they score, we score, they score, they made a couple threes. We just knew we're gonna make it eventually. So we weren't worried about the shots not going in at the time. So we just keep playing our basketball.
We'll stay on this side on the front row on the end.
Deshaunte, Spotlight Radio Network. Congratulations to you guys, first of all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Was there ever a point where, there was definitely, a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, a lot of conversation about Marquise Noel coming into this game? Was there ever a point you guys put a little bit more emphasis on it, that you kind of wanted to show the world that it wasn't just going to be all the talk about Marquise Noel, but that you guys were a team that could challenge some of that?
Let's start with Brian, and then we'll go to Elijah on that one.
Yeah, first off, I just want to shout out Marquise Noel. He's definitely a very, very talented point guard. We game plan for him, and he still put up numbers. But, we just know it's a team effort, and it's going to take the whole unit to really win this game. And it's not just, one guy who can shut somebody down. It's just a group effort. So.
Yeah, we came into it with a chip on our shoulder. And, of course, shout out to Marquise. He's a great player, and, going into it, we just wanted to shut him down, but he still put up crazy stats, and
and we're just able to overcome that, because we got 8 guys over here that's 8, 10, or whatever. I keep counting. Great guys, that's contributing and can step up any night,
We'll come on the other side of the room here. Just raise your hand so we can see you. Go ahead. Yep.
Hi guys, Jeff Maglicetti with SI.com, all Knicks. First of all, congratulations. And there's a lot of talk about Marquise Noel, but at the same time, the leading scorer is Keontae Johnson, who's limited to 18 minutes tonight due to foul trouble. How much does the pace of the game and the tone of the game change when you're able to keep a guy like Keontae on the bench?
Let's have Elijah answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, once he got in foul trouble, it was much easier on the defensive end. He's a guy with a strong frame, a freak athlete, and it was easy to just limit him to one possession and get stops.
We'll take one more question for the student athletes. We'll go back here onto the aisle with Zach.
Zach Brazilian, New York Post. Yesterday, a few of your guys, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, a few of your guys said, "Don't consider yourselves a Cinderella." How do you think people should look at you then, if not Cinderella?
We'll start with Elijah. We'll have Brian, and then Vlad. We'll have all three answer that.
They gonna label us whatever, but we some pit bulls and Rottweilers. We go out there and show it every night, and just label. Just call us Beach Boys, because we gonna come out and show how it's done.
Man, we don't really listen to the outside noise too much. Honestly, all the things people say just fuels us to even go out there and play even harder. So they can say what we want, say we're a Cinderella team, say we don't belong, but we've constantly proven people wrong all season.
I like what BJ said. It's like nobody likes us. It's okay because we know who put work before that. We know who stays in the locker room whether we win or we lose. So I think it's more important how we approach each other.
Okay. Fellas, I appreciate it. Congratulations. Enjoy the trip to Houston.
Thank you.
Once again, the locker room is open until at least 9:44. FAU locker room. We have Coach May, so once again, just raise your hand. We will get a microphone over to you. Let's start on the aisle. We'll get back there eventually. Let's start on the aisle up here in front.
Dusty, Zach Weinberger, Palm Beach Post. You kind of have throughout the season. You kind of told us kind of the keys to victory: rebounded well, protect the basketball. You guys did have 22 turnovers, but you guys out-rebounded them 44-22. Can you just kind of talk about that, those statistics, and just what kind of went into the game?
Well, we've done that pretty consistently all year. I believe we're top 25 in the country in defensive percentage of getting the rebounds. So it's not anything that we haven't done. We have a physical group. They're quick to the ball, and they're really bought into all 5 guys pursuing it. And they've done it all year. So this wasn't a surprise. And they do it every single day in workouts and practice as well.
We'll stay on that same row. Go ahead.
Hi, Dusty, over here. Eric Blum from Deadspin. When you think of the mid-majors that have kind of made the Final Four, you think of George Mason, you think of VCU. Now you guys are on that list. What does that exactly mean when people remember this run, that they're going to remember Florida Atlantic did it this year to you?
Well, I said earlier that there are no such things as dictionaries anymore, I don't think. But if you wiki our team, it would be the word team. It would be a picture of our guys. They're going to have a special bond forever. But they would have this group would have had a special bond forever if we would have got knocked out in the conference tournament and not made the tournament. It's who they are. Like I said before, it's just awesome to see a group of guys that deserve this 100% for it to happen for them.
We'll go a couple rows back with Jeff.
Jeff Borzello, ESPN. 9 days ago, as a program, you never had a NCAA tournament win. Now you're going to the Final Four. Have you been able to kind of put that in perspective at all?
No, not at all. There were maybe 2 or 3 games, probably 2 games, maybe the first round game or the second round game. One of our guys made a mistake, and I went to the staff and I said, we've really got to fix that issue in this offseason. So during the games, I'm thinking about we've got to get that fixed. We don't have time now, but we got to get that habit fixed by next season. So that's kind of how I'm wired. I'm just happy for our guys and our staff. These guys, man, For 5 years, I've been a head coach, and I've never felt for 1 minute that I didn't have a group that was trying to help and support and make me better than what I am. And that's kind of how our guys are. Their teammates make them better than what they are. And so we've done it together.
Other side of the aisle on row 3.
Dusty, Kevin Fielder from Miles 24/7. You guys have been building this for 5 years, and when I spoke to you earlier in the season, you had said we're not done after we beat Florida. For you guys to now be in the Final Four, what had to go right this season to get to this point?
We stayed healthy, and the guys never changed. The foundation was laid, and they stayed with it. A lot of times these guys get so much attention. They're also accessible. It's easy to stray because you have outside influences, and our guys knew that what was in that locker room was real.
We'll go, in the back, directly in front of me, like second to last row.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic. Just, you ask any guy on this roster, they're not really surprised that they're here right now. I'm thinking back to Thursday, they were talking about getting in the top 25, maybe gave them a different level of confidence than before, I guess. Can you just kind of speak to when the group maybe had the expectations change amongst the group to where this is what's expected and not a Cinderella run or some of the other notions they've rejected?
Yeah, I've said this week there was 2 pivotal moments, and the first was when we were able to go into Florida and beat a really good basketball team, and the second was when Mike Davis, we played Detroit Mercy, and he coached for a national championship, and he came in the locker room, and this is early in the season, and told our guys, we haven't seen a team like you in years. This group could be special. You guys could go to the Final Four. And our guys are looking at me like, hey, who is this guy? And so, but what it did, as we started to win and generate a little bit of buzz, I think we always kind of refer back to maybe we're a little bit better than what we thought. The other moment was we played, I don't know if we're allowed to say this, NCAA, I'll take the level 3 violation. We close scrimmage Nova Southeastern, who just won a national championship today. They're the best pressing, hardest playing team we've ever seen. And when we beat them in a scrimmage, we said we got a chance to be pretty darn good. So hats off, Coach Crutchfield, national champion, and someone that gave us, once again, more confidence in ourselves.
Come up a couple rows on the same side.
Coach, over here, Jeff Maglicetti with SI.com, All Knicks. First of all, congratulations. And there were several points in the second half where this game could have gotten away for you guys, namely at the U12 timeout. It's a 57-50 game. They start the second half on a 19-8 run. What was your message to the team at that point, and what gave you the confidence that you guys were going to be able to overcome such a deficit and move on and do, in your words, what you guys were supposed to do?
That if we just stayed the course and focused on what's important, then we would have had a spurt in us. We've had spurts in us all year, and we had been on one in the first half. So just stay in the course, hang around, and then we always have a run. And because of our depth, our guys believe that we can play harder for longer periods of time than all of our opponents. And it may or may not be true, but we believe it.
Up one row on the end.
Hey, Coach Nick Levine, Guardian. We know you started your career with Coach Knight, and how do you think Coach Knight from the 90s would have enjoyed this group, coaching this group of guys?
This is a Coach Knight type of group. We all obviously throw out coaching cliches, but I've never been around a group of guys, and I've been doing this 20-plus years, been a part of a Division I team for 20-plus years, that brought it the amount of energy, intentionality, focus every single workout of every single day. And if one guy wasn't, then his teammates quickly reeled him in, and we didn't have to. This is a player-led team, and these guys have made each other better every single day. It wasn't just the games. It was workouts, practices, weight sessions, film sessions. These guys are committed to being great.
We're going to go to the other side of the room in the very back row.
Cameron Priester, University Press. Coach, it was a second-half run that got you past Tennessee, and then kind of the same thing happened tonight. What it is about your team that just always seems to have that run in them?
It's straight tenaciousness and belief in each other and belief in what we do.
We'll come up on the aisle here, row 3.
Coach, JP Acosta, SB Nation. Following up on that, this team has played really well in close games, especially throughout this NCAA tournament. What kind of goes into being able to tell the team not to be moved by those moments that are getting down to crunch time?
Well, there's no replacement for experience, and these guys have been in pressure-packed moments a lot. So you've gone through it, you learn from it, and these guys are trying to get better every day. So they've learned from the mistakes, but these guys, they're not afraid of. They weren't afraid to lose today and go home. They're not afraid of failure. We lay it on the floor, and whatever happens after that is more than enough because we've done that every single day. So there's never a moment when we get tight because we're not afraid of what happens if we don't get it done. We'll still walk in that locker room, hug each other, compliment each other for a great effort, and figure out how to immediately start getting better. And it's been like that from day one.
We'll go back a couple rows on the aisle there, Dan.
Hey, Coach. Dan McQuaid, Defector Media. What did you tell your team in the final, seconds of the game? And, obviously it worked. What was your defensive game plan for that final play?
Well, we had a smaller group in. We were going to switch all ball screens and make them hit a hard shot over us. We weren't going to foul. Despite the 50-50 data split on that, we wanted to force them to hit a hard shot and finish it with a rebound. So we had 5 quick, tough, competitive players, and we just wanted to make sure we kept the ball in front and we didn't put 2 on the ball because there's complementary guys that stepped up and banged in some tough shots.
We're going to do 2 more questions. We'll do on the aisle, and then we'll go over there so we can get Coach back to the locker room.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. Dusty, did you ever come close to losing any of your guys to the portal? And we all know that's just what happens now, where you have some success and guys leave. Why do you think your guys stay together?
Absolutely. You're always concerned because they're getting recruited now. They've been recruited through this tournament. There's so many outside parties. It's part of it. Our job of coaches is to do the best job we can every single minute of every single day to provide the environment that they think this is the best thing for them long term. Not today, not in a week, not in a month, but long term. And the missing piece that is very understated is these guys truly love each other. And when you love your teammates, it's hard to go jump into deep waters that you don't know what's out there.
On the far end on row 3, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Jake Marsh, part of my Take podcast and Barstool Sports. You mentioned Nova Southeastern winning the D2 title between the Sharks cutting down the nets, you guys going to the Final Four, and Miami still alive in the Elite Eight. Can you just touch on what that means to the South Florida community, the heater that South Florida is on right now in basketball?
Well, I'll talk about Florida Atlantic first. Florida Atlantic's a new university. It's been booming before I got here. One of the reasons I took it is because it's the right place at the right time, and it's growing exponentially. And so we've talked about it. We've just never had that moment as a university. I still remember being a child watching the 87 Hoosiers, and because of that, I became a fan forever. And so we had never had our moment. And when we made the tournament this year and we won a very tough league, if you look around and really study our league, a tough league, we felt like this could be our moment to really captivate an area, a fan base, a student body. And I think we've exceeded that moment, but there's no reason why we wouldn't just continue to ride this wave.
Coach May, we appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations. Enjoy Houston.
Thank you, guys.
Right now it is 9:38. Once again, the locker room will be open until at least 9:44. So at least 6 more minutes. A reminder that Hammond Communications is posting recordings of both press conferences from tonight in the NCAA's digital media hub. That is www.ncaa.veritone.com. Once again, both press conferences will be posted in the digital media hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Veritone is VERITONE. Also, transcripts are provided by ASAP. Those will be posted shortly. We appreciate you taking the time. Loved having you here in New York this weekend. There just weren't all the hands were on this side, so I was like, yeah. And that one guy standing all the way in the corner, and I'm like, I barely see you, man. You're out of my sight line. But no. Yeah, I was like, do I really the SI.com Knicks guy? I'm like, why am I even calling him? What the fuck is that? Knicks Nation. Why are you even here? Why are you even here? And he's got to learn how to land the plane. His questions take way too long, especially on a night like tonight where it's like, listen, we're trying to keep it moving, man. You can't be like, we get it. You understand the game.
Yeah, so he's trying to tell the whole room how much you know about basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You get it. You know ball. Cool.
We have a few people like that in Philly, so so it's a little annoying. But got her done.
You got it done.
Thanks for your help, boys.
Thank you, Mike. Much appreciated.
Hey, funny meeting you here. You're good, man. I'm just changing my shirt. Sorry. I ain't changing anything else.
I didn't think there was anybody. Every time I came back in, there was nobody here.
He's on to us, right?
I can turn these lights right so they cool down.
I'm done.
over and I'll bring that. This is us, right?
So that's not us, but that is.
This is us.
That's where all tables go.
Yeah, so we're gonna go like this.
Watch your back.
This is gonna right. Like this. This is fine.
I can give you a little bit more.
That's
room like
fine.
that.
That's good. Now we're gonna go like this. We're gonna turn it, and then we can put those boxes on that. And we'll take it off